What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Tight Squad? What's going on, everybody? So, should the Browns trade Deshaun Watson? Should they trade Deshaun Watson, or should they release him? Well, I don't think. I don't think they should not trade Deshaun Watson. But if they do, I would say trade him to a contender team because I'm going to get the elephant out of the room. Is that when you have a quarterback like Deshaun Watson, when you have a quarterback like Deshaun Watson, you can't let you can't let somebody like a Deshaun Watson quarterback, like a Deshaun Watson quarterback. Um, you can't let Deshaun Watson like that go. You can't let him go because even though he had a tough tough season this year with the Browns crowd booing him when he got injured, which I didn't like. Which I didn't like. When this was his first game back in like 2 years. This was his first season back in a few years. His first season back in like two years because he hasn't played 2 years. When a guy doesn't play, when a player doesn't play 2 years, miss 2 years, and comes back and gives a team a performance that he wanted to, that he wanted to, I would say you have to have that performance. You have to have that kind of performance and come back. Now, will they keep him in 2025? Or will they keep him in 2025? We do not know. We do not know what the Browns will do going forward with Deshaun Watson. Like Deshaun Watson, like I said, is a good quarterback. He's an amazing quarterback and a good quarterback. But the way that Jameis is balling, the way that Jameis is balling and coming in and balling is 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 doing that's amazing to see because we seen when when Deshaun Watson didn't play last year. We seen Joe Flacco come in and make make us a playoff team. We seen um we seen um we seen Kobe Brissett um Jacob Kobe Brissett have a good career with have a good season with the Browns. We saw Jameis now having a good season. I think I think if you move on from Deshaun Watson, if you move on from Deshaun Watson, or if you trade him, I would say you either could draft like a quarterback in Deshaun. You could draft a quarterback in in um in in like a Sador Sanders or like a Sador Sanders. You could draft a quarterback like Sador Sanders in the draft, or draft like a Travis Hunter in the draft. I would say that the Browns, would I want them to move on from Deshaun? Maybe. Does Deshaun want to stay? We do not, because next year he's probably going to make over $245 million with the Browns, because back in 2020 or 21 when we trade for Deshaun Watson, he kind of looked he kind of when we look at back at that trade, basically is what I'm trying to say. When we look back at that trade, we could say that Deshaun Watson, Deshaun Watson really, we could say that trade when we look back at it between Houston and the Browns, the Texans and the Browns, we could say that was probably a good trade. That was probably not a good trade. That was probably, let me get the elephant out of the room. That was probably a good trade. That was probably not a good trade. Because looking back at it, we're all going to look back at this trade for Deshaun Watson. Because the Browns gave up a lot. And I think when you have like a Kobe Brissett, Jacob Kobe Brissett wanted to stay with the Browns. Um, Brissett wanted to stay with the Browns that 1 year when he played with the Browns. Um, Joe Flacco wanted to stay with the Browns. And I think Jameis wants to stay with the Browns now that he's balling, now that Deshaun Watson is out. But should they trade him? I would say it's up to the Browns because he wants to return. I would say you could move on. You could not move on with Deshaun, but that's only up to the Browns on what the Browns are going to do going into a situation like this. But guys, so if you're new, and never give up your dreams, and I hope all of you guys are safe out there, and stay blessed, everybody, and peace.